Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, joined by Matt and not Dan, Darren Rogers. AJ, how you doing?
Doing great. Happy to fill the void for at least one episode.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
big.
Dan's not here, but I'll just say it. Stavo, we sent somebody else.
Yep, yes sir, yes sir. Feels good, good feeling. We'll talk about that, but we want to talk playoffs first and foremost. Topic number one, Matt. We'll start with you. What was your favorite game of the playoffs so far?
Boy, I what's really hard, especially when we do a show like this after some games were played, recency bias really, and even in the regular season when we do this show, you always think about what happened recently, and you might overlook some things. So I don't think it's recency bias to say it was Stavo versus KP. I mean, this game had everything. It had weird plays from the Philly special to an illegal contact that negated a strip fumble sack. You had drop picks that probably would have won the game. And I swear to God, every time I thought both guys were dead, they rose from the depths. I think Stavo might have made the second best throw of the cycle with that in route, that dig route to like the 1 yard line that looked like it was bottled. I don't know how he completed it. I think only your 4th and 16 is better, and that might have just been because of the situation that it was in the Super Bowl and you were behind the 8 ball, so to speak. So. That's a game I'm probably going to go back and watch. I might even say it's my favorite game of the cycle.
Yeah, it was a good game. AJ, what are you thinking?
For the sake of not choosing the same game because that was a tough one. And for the record, that deep post that KP hit on that drive to tie, I think it was to tie the game up or take the
Yeah.
lead, one or the other. That was very reminiscent of that kind of deep crosser post that you threw on that 4th and 16.
It was.
Just saying.
It was close.
Just saying. Looked very similar. Anyways, for the sake of not picking the same game, I'll go with the Hertzler Bowl. You got father-son exchange there. That game kind of went back and forth. It looked like Damon was dead there for a while, even though he had some early momentum. And it felt like Dan was kind of taking control of the game. And he just hung around and hung around and hung around. And then, the Hail Mary, he got a fortunate animation there from a Donnie Mitchell and took the game winner. It's hard to beat those final wacky plays that just end the game on a walk-off.
Yeah, those were my two favorite as well. I'll go ahead. I'll pick another one just to be nice. Tiny and young Hurts was a fun game to watch. That game had my blood pressure going. There were so many just wacky decisions in that game. It made me want to break my controller, and I wasn't even playing the game, but it was fun, and it was somebody different. Tiny was in the playoffs, and he had a chance to win it, and he had people talking. Whenever the playoff game is good, when after the game people are talking for 2 or 3, 4 hours after the game, and that was one of those games. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
That was a good game. You know what it reminded me of, Prime? It's like when you're driving down the freeway and you see a really bad car accident, and it's bad, but you can't stop looking at it.
Keep looking.
That was Tiny and Damon.
Yeah, you got a creak in your neck because you yanked your head so hard and over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how bad it was. Moving on to topic 2, and we'll start with AJ on this one. Who lost that you're surprised about, or what game maybe surprised you where you're like, oh wow, I can't believe this happened, or this guy beat this guy, or so on?
It's not so much the loss, it's the way it happened. I didn't get to watch the game, but it was the Bomber game versus you, Prime. Just looking at the score, I would have never expected that differential in points in the divisional round. Very uncharacteristic of Bomber, especially since it's a division game. He's familiar with you, you're familiar with him. Just very surprising to see that score at the end of the game.
Yeah, that was a shocker for many, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where Bomber just had a bad game, right? I watched it. He made a couple of bad reads, and then things just spiral. On the same token, I'm going to go. While I did think Bomber was going to win this game, I didn't expect him to absolutely kill Gutta, who had a really good season at 14-3, including a win over Stavo. I mean, it wasn't like he got like a fourth place schedule and he just had this fluke season. It's a Simbardi winner that had some good wins and just got boat raced. But again, and maybe this is recency bias, or maybe this is just me. I was surprised Stavo lost. Look, he's head and shoulders the best player in the NFC. I don't even think it's really that close. I think KP is probably the only one that even has a chance to say that even before that game. But it just what it seemed like to me is KP played so well, but Stavo just always one-upped him. Like every third down where, let me hold him to a field goal in overtime and I'll get the ball and have a chance. And Stavo made that crazy pass. He just always made the play. Whether it was offense or defense, he made the play. And I thought, KP is dead. 3rd and 10, he's dead. He's absolutely dead. And he just kept going. I'm surprised that Stavo lost. Especially because he played so well. I thought if he had a dud game, but he didn't. He played really well and he lost.
It's tough. I've been there. I remember I had a playoff game, I think it was last cycle against QP. And when you throw your best punch and you feel like you threw one of your best punches and the guy doesn't fall down and he keeps moving forward and he beats you. Very rarely do you feel like that in a playoff game, that you threw your best punch. And I think Stavo threw his best punch and he still lost. The thing about KP is his style is just good come playoff time. It's just that run the ball, make the right reads, typically play defense, not in that game. That's just a recipe for success. For me, the shocker, I don't mean for him to be two of my answers, but it was the Hertz Bowl. I was surprised that Dan lost that game, especially after he was up 2 scores. There was a pick 6 there by Damon. At that point, it's Dan. He has control. He has the ball. He had two score lead. It was over. And you don't see Dan really squander leads like that, especially to an inexperienced playoff player like Damon. But he did. He had multiple opportunities to kind of seal that game still, and he couldn't do it. It was just surprising. It really was surprising. Let's move on. Who are we spreading our love on? And Matt, we'll let you spread it first on somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna spread it on Stavo. Tough loss, great game. I mean, historic game, but Stavo takes a lot of crap. He gets a lot of the NFC heat's directed at him because obviously, he's the standout guy, the back-to-back champ, and so everybody tries to lessen his achievements, and myself included. But he's a very good sport about it. Look, tough way to lose, man. Sometimes I swear I'd rather lose like Bomber did than a game like that, or how Dan lost. But share the love with Stavo. He was a good sport afterwards. And then I'm gonna switch gears onto the AFC and give it to Tiny. Hey, look, this guy's won like 30% of his games in the SML, and he's been here a long time, you guys. But hey, he fought. He should have won that game, but you eventually you saw why he's won 30% of his games. But I think if he takes it as a learning lesson, he could make maybe not the next step, but a next step.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. AJ, what you thinking, man? Who you spreading it on?
I'd like to spread it on some of these new guys, stepping up for commentary. I think I saw Tug with Raider fan. I think I did.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. ZBD's been stepping up big time. We had Trick on the last call there on the best game of the playoffs, maybe the cycle. Just sharing the love on those guys that are, guys you don't typically see putting themselves out there. I think that's really good for the league. Everybody's getting more comfortable with each other. It's good for camaraderie, good for banter. I think it's good for the league.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys step up this time around. That was kind of what I was going to say. You've seen the Tugs, the Tricks of the world. Obviously, ZBD, Bomber, all stepping up. Just a lot of guys. Matt did Red Zone with me. Just a lot of good guys. Paulie and Matt are going to be commentating the Super Bowl tomorrow. Just a lot of really, really good dudes just stepping up and making it work. And I think that's what makes the SML playoffs so fun, is just it becomes a kind of a national holiday 3 days in a row for everybody. It's like March Madness because everybody's commentating and making fun of each other, and it makes for a fun time. Hey, tomorrow, big game. It's kind of Matt and I talked, this was kind of pre-planned here this morning. Super Bowl Eve podcast. So here we are. It's a night before the Super Bowl, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. What do you guys think? What's your thoughts going into the game? Obviously, I'm in the game, so I'm going to have a skewed opinion, of course. But Packers and Colts, AJ, what you thinking?
I think that both guys well, KP will be very prepared. You will pretend like you won't prepare, but you're probably more um, mentally prepared than most by just watching the games and commentating. That's your kind of way of studying. Where KP's probably going to be looking at your play charts and everything, just really dissecting. I think it's going to be a really close game. I do not think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it'll be more of um, a game you'll typically see in the playoffs. A lot of running the ball, good defense, taking points. I think it's going to be a good one. I mean, what more can you ask for? You got two Lombardi winners facing off in the Super Bowl.
You got a prediction?
Says, yeah, give it a prediction.
Prime. I think Prime's going to win the game. Let's say Prime by 4, 28-24.
We'll take it.
Prime, you remember you and KP played a couple seasons ago? Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember the score?
Was it like 3-0?
6-3. You beat him. If you guys could do that again, I won't speak for Paulie. It'll probably drive him crazy. I would love it. Give me 3 field goals all game. I would love it. No, I'm excited for this one. I mean, obviously we wanted Prime Stavo. Obviously, there was a lot of build up there. But look, KP is the next best thing, and he gets overlooked in the NFC, myself included. He hasn't quite had the cycle that he had hoped. He was offering a top 5 pick just 3 weeks ago. So some of that's his own doing. But look, when Prime and KP play each other, it's a battle, and it's not going to be like what we just watched with KP and Stavo. This is not going to be a shootout that goes back and forth. This is going to be a defensive game. And you guys played this season; it was 20-6. So you seem to have the blueprint on his offense. So I'm very curious if he can make adjustments. And so I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I think Prime, you're going to win, but I think you're going to really have to dig your heels in, and I think you're going to win 17-14.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. When I play KP, I draw comparisons to games against you. I draw comparisons to games against Dan. Obviously, they have similar style. They share tips. I'm sure Dan will be in his corner over the next 24 hours. I think it'll be a close game, a defensive game. I would like some revenge. KP beat me last season of the last cycle against in the AFC Championship game. He got his Lombardi win after beating me in the AFC Championship game when I had a 2-score lead. He kind of stole it from me. Then he beat Woods in the Super Bowl. I would have crushed Woods, by the way. So that one's still in the back of my head. I haven't forgotten about that game, and this will be a nice little redemption arc for me. I kind of like doing that. It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a defensive game. KP and I always play close games. It's just going to be who is sharper that day. And being at 12:30, I'm going to sleep in a little bit and hopefully feel good. But I feel good. Obviously, I beat Damon, who I'm assuming got the same game plan that KP is going to get. So we'll see how he adjusts, and we'll be ready come Saturday afternoon. But
yeah, that's another thing with KP's defense. That's why I just thought Stavo, I'm shocked he lost, because a shootout like that is not KP's style. But either he's locked in and he's just he just can't be beat, and it's just destiny, or he used all of 9 lives, man, and he's cooked tomorrow. I'm very interested to see. He ain't gonna open with the Philly special. I can tell you that. I'd put some money on that.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm pumped up. Hey, to get number 24, Mamba mentality. I know you respect that mentality, Matt.
Absolutely.
Let's you got your Matt 5. What are you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, my Matt 5. Colts, Raiders, Browns, Steelers, Texans, all AFC. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a Matt 5. I was actually I listened to The Truth, as I hope everybody else did. It's one of the best shows out there, and I think part of the I wish that it would drop more often, but I think part of its appeal is that it only happens once a season. So I really like what Paulie does there. And at the end of it, if you listen to Watakula talk or whatever, I can't even do a Boston accent, but he goes off on this NFC tangent, right? And he has to. Look, he had more hours before we started than I have right now, and he's 7-9-1. He hasn't done anything. He has to defend. He has to defend his conference, and he was touting up Stavo, right? And he should. Back-to-back champ, looking for the three-peat. He's riding the coattails, as I'm riding the coattails of you and some other guys in the AFC. But look, this is what we told you guys all along. Stavo wins like 6 games, and he could win his division. This Daz was a little flash in the pan, new guy, looked a little bit better. But he doesn't really have to work hard. You guys have to work hard in the AFC, and I think you saw that he doesn't have to work hard. He falls a little bit short against KP. So I hope this ends the debate. The NFC is the weaker conference, plain and simple. The AFC, none of these guys are getting through the AFC on a regular basis. That's the whole reason the Bengals and the Browns and etc. fell in the team draft, because nobody wanted a piece of QP, Prime, Dan, Bomber. So after today, what happened to Stavo, the three-peat dream is over. The AFC is supreme. That's all I'm going to say. And that was me being nice, by the way. I was going to be a lot worse.
Yeah, that was very kind, I thought, personally. Listen, there's no question. When guys in the NFC are starting, and I don't know, I can't believe we went this whole show without mentioning this. We had a guy start a punter at quarterback in the NFC. Like, do we even need to talk? That could have just been our talking point. Grimm is supposedly some sort of NASA worker. Bomber said he looked up his profile, and he was one of the lead engineers on the Challenger project. So I don't know if that's related or not. But regardless, that was bad, and that settles the AFC NFC.
And not just okay. I didn't know start putting your punter in for training was a thing, but okay, let's. He forgot to change it back. Whatever. But didn't he almost go a whole quarter? Yeah. And KP had to tell him, like, okay, that's worse. Like, I can see the mistake of not fixing your depth chart, but not noticing until your opponent tells you. That's crazy.
That's pretty bad.
I'm surprised there's not a nickname that's been drummed up for old Graham after that. That's one of those you'll never live down.
Yeah, I need to work on that. I did come up with the Doink moniker. I was proud of that. So I'll let me ChatGPT some ideas. Now it's 2025. So, guys, that is SML Total Access. We appreciate AJ kind of filling in for Dan, Darren Rogers, as I call him. We appreciate you so much. AJ, I'll let you sign us off.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Everybody have a good night. Get some rest. Super Bowl tomorrow.
Let's go.